Welcome back to Outriders. In this video I want to talk to you about a mechanic in the game that I believe a lot of players will actually miss or completely forget about, because I did the same. I can't remember where I saw this. I believe it was a tooltip when I first started playing, possibly even during the demo. And also, it might not feel the same for everyone. It might just be stronger for other players. I don't know entirely. But the more people that I've had in my game, the better the loot has been. As I said, this is from my experience. I don't know if it's going to be the same thing for every other player. And trust me, I know the online connection to this game, even though it's online only, is an absolute disaster. But if you are able to connect, then I would recommend, if you can, play in a group. I don't think there are full-on inventory wipes anymore. However, I've recently had a comment. Someone said their funeral pyre went missing from their inventory very recently. So there are still a lot of issues regarding inventories, but I don't think there are full-on wipes. And also, some of your loot is going to be absolutely dreadful. Because for some reason, they marketed this game as like a 200 or 300 hour game, then you move on and play something else. Yet they have put an abysmal drop rate on their legendaries, and their loot pools are all over the place. So, from my experience, playing solo, because I had to play for a couple of weeks, I wasn't doing runs as fast. However, I was getting quite a lot of golds and stuff. Over the course of a couple of weeks, playing almost every single day, I was getting rarely any legendaries, and some of the time I was on lower tiers and stuff, but it just felt as though the loot wasn't great. And then Pete decided, after a few weeks of launch, to buy the game on PC, use a trainer and cheat, so when he comes into my game, although most of the things don't actually work, he can still increase his rate of fire, he can increase his game speed, so he can move to doorways and stuff a lot faster. When we have played 2-player groups, every single run, tier 15, gold times guaranteed, we have pretty much always had the same legendary drops. There's been a lot of legendaries, for me personally, not drop that I need. One of the most common drops I've seen, and I've seen people talking about this, it's been the case for me as well, is the Cannonball armor set. That stuff seems to drop like it's nobody's business. However, very recently, I decided to get one of my friends Span into the game with me and Pete. We ran for a few hours in a 3-player group, and that's cross-play between the PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and PC. The issue we have with the cross-play all the time is when we go into a group together, we start an expedition, whoever's not the host is kicked out. You invite again when you're in that beginning part of the expedition, it seems to work okay. However, I'm having another problem where I physically cannot join other players. Whether they're on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, whatever, I can't join other players for whatever reason. I can host the games, get other people in with me, but I can't join other players. I don't know what's happening with that. It's not my internet connection, because everything else internet-based works properly and it works fine. But we were in a 3-player group running expeditions, and we had so many random drops for things I have never ever seen before. Span was lucky enough to get himself a death shield. He also got the gloves that he's been looking for weeks. There were possibly, I'm going to say 4 or 5 different legendaries that I have never seen in the game before. I had those drop for me, and I've played well over 225 hours of this game. I think I'm close to 250 hours now. And it just felt as though the loot was much more varied in a 3-player group than any other group size in the game. I don't know if this is definite. I did see something in the game that stated your loot would be better in group. But if that is the case, and it works similar for everyone, those playing solo, for whatever reason, server issues, or anything like that, those players might only have limited drops. Or they might spend hours upon hours looking for this drop that they could have possibly done 2 or 3 runs in a 3-player group and got that thing to drop. So this isn't me saying go and play in a group, it's going to be much better, all this sort of stuff, because a lot of the time in this game that can't happen. Whether it is server issues, crossplay not working, matchmaking being broken, it can be tough. Also, another thing that's come up, I'm going to do a separate video on this one, Devastators are still being kicked out of groups all the time. So there are a lot of things that hold you back from being able to get into a group, but I'm saying if you have the option to jump into a group, then try it. Let me know how it goes for you. Because honestly, I was shocked at the loot we were getting, and it was pretty much every single run. I think there were like 2 runs out of the 3 hours where we didn't get a legendary, and it was tier 15 the whole way through. So that was to talk about the insane mechanic, and I say it's an insane mechanic because I do believe that will happen for most players, if not all. And it's definitely something players don't think about, because whilst I was playing solo, when I've been playing in 2-player groups, I've never thought of getting a third in, because I didn't think the loot would vary that much. But after my few hours of playing in a group of 3, the loot was so much better. Like, so much more varied. Drops were common. None of us expected it at all. But what we're going to do is leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.